Hi, today we're going to continue reading Ready Freddy, Homework Castles. When we left off on Monday, the boys were having their sleepover and they were getting ready for their nocturnal adventure. So let's begin today with Chapter 4, In the Dark of the Night. We started to tiptoe down the stairs in our socks. Robbie almost stepped on the fourth step, but I grabbed him just in time and yanked him back. Hey, what are you doing? He asked. I put my finger to my lips. Shh, that was a close one. Remember, you have to skip that step. Oh, yeah, Robbie mouthed, nodding his head. We made our way down the rest of the stairs and into the kitchen. By the back door, we sat down on the floor to put on our shoes. What do you want to do when we get out there? I asked Robbie. Let's go exploring and see what kind of night creatures we can find. With these night vision goggles, I can see as well as an owl in the dark. We still have to whisper when we're outside, I said. I swear my mom can hear anything. I tried to turn the latch on the back door. Rats, I whispered. What? This latch always gets stuck. Let me try, Robbie said, pushing me out of the way. He spit into his hands and then rubbed the spit on the latch. Ew, gross, what are you doing? I'm trying to lubricate the latch. What? Could you speak English, Einstein? I'm trying to get the latch wet so it slides more easily. Well then, why don't you just say that, I said. Robbie rubbed on a little more spit. Got it, he said. The latch turned and we were finally in the backyard. Brr, it's freezing out here, I said. My teeth were chattering. How do these nocturnal animals stay warm? They have fur, and they move around a lot, Robbie said. Just don't stand still and you won't be so cold. We walked to the back of the yard and searched the ground for animal tracks. Hey, Freddy, look at this, Robbie said, motioning for me to come closer. It looks like the footprints of a possum. How do you know what a possum footprint looks like? I asked. I saw them in a book once. I bet it's around here someplace. I'm going to go over there, he said, pointing at my garage, and see if it's up on the roof. While Robbie was tracking the possum, I was getting bored and my fingers were starting to freeze. I decided to keep warm by climbing the tallest tree in the yard. I know, I called to Robbie. You stay on the ground and use your goggles, and I'll climb the tree and let you know if I see it up here. You're going to climb a tree in the dark? Yeah, why not? I've done it so many times I could do it with my eyes closed. All right. As I started to climb up the trunk, I lost my grip and fell to the ground. Are you okay? Robbie whispered. Yeah, fine, I answered. It's hard to get a good grip because my hands are so cold. Now I know why raccoons and possums have sharp claws. I started back up the tree again, and this time I reached my favorite branch and sat down. I was finally big enough to climb as high as the third branch. See anything yet? I called down to Robbie in a whisper. No, me either. As I sat in the tree waiting for Robbie to find something, I slowly scooted my body farther out on the branch. Then I gripped the branch with the back of my knees and let go with my hands. Hey, look at me, I called to Robbie. I'm hanging upside down, just like a paw. The next thing I knew, the branch broke, and I hit the ground with a thud. Ah! Chapter 5, Is It Broken? The emergency room was full of people, even in the middle of the night. We had already been waiting there an hour, and my right arm was killing me. My mom was convinced that it was broken. When is it going to be our turn? Susie whined. My parents had to wake her up in the middle of the night to come to the hospital with us. Don't even start, Susie, my dad said. If anyone should be complaining, it's Freddy, my mom said, turning to me. Are you okay, baby? She had tied a blanket under my arm and around my neck like a sling to keep my arm from moving. It really hurts, Mom, I said, sniffling. Can you wiggle your fingers like this, my dad asked, moving all his fingers up and down. Nope, I said, wincing in pain. Boy, his fingers are so swollen they look like sausages, Susie said. If they weren't so swollen, I'd give you a big knuckle sandwich right now, I said, glaring at her. Stop it right now, you two, my dad said, gritting his teeth. Just then the nurse called my name. Freddie Thresher. Finally, I said and sighed. Just follow me, please, she said. We followed her into an examining room where she took my blood pressure and carefully unwrapped my arm to get a better look. Dr. Carton will be here in a moment, she said as she left the room. A few minutes later, Dr. Carton came in. Well, hello there, cutie, she said. Let's take a look at that arm now. Tell me, how did this happen? I fell out of a tree, I answered. What were you doing in a tree in the middle of the night? Don't ask, my mom said, rolling her eyes. Well, it certainly looks broken to me, but we're going to take an x-ray to be sure. Freddie and I will be back in a few minutes, she said, smiling. She put me in a wheelchair and wheeled me down to the x-ray room. She lifted me onto a bed and told me to stay real still. Then she left the room and I was alone in the dark. My stomach started to do flip-flops. I didn't know what was going to happen. I'd never had an x-ray before. All done, she said when she came back into the room a minute later. That's it, I asked. Yep, that's it. Is it broken? I asked nervously. It sure is. A nice clean break. Let's go tell your parents. Do we have to? I thought. When this was all over, I was going to get the biggest punishment of my life. She wheeled me back to the room where Susie and my parents were all anxiously waiting to hear the news. Is it broken, doctor? My dad asked. I'm afraid so. I knew it, my mom said. We'll have to put it in a cast. I suddenly felt sick. A cast? Susie said. You are so lucky, Freddy. Casts are so cool. All your friends can sign it and you don't have to do homework for a whole month. Hey, maybe breaking my arm wouldn't be so bad. I kind of like the part about not having to do homework. Oh, Susie, don't be ridiculous, my mom said. Breaking your arm is not so lucky. Freddy, what color would you like your cast to be? Dr. Carton asked. I thought casts were white, my dad said. Not anymore, Dr. Carton said. Now they come in designer colors. Can I have gray blue? Blue gray? Why blue gray? Dr. Carton asked, puzzled. Because that's my favorite color. It's the color of sharks. You'll have to excuse him, my dad said. He's a shark freak. Oh, Dr. Carton said, smiling. Well, I don't have a blue-gray, but I have a nice light blue color. Does that sound good? Great, I said. By the time Dr. Carton got done setting my cast, it was almost 4 o'clock in the morning. I had stayed up all night after all. Chapter 6. Not so bad after all. There were only 2 bad things about breaking my arm. 1, my punishment. I could not have a sleepover with Robbie for a whole month. 2, I had to wrap my cast in a plastic bag whenever I took a bath. Because I couldn't get my cast wet, my mom didn't let me play with my sharks in the tub. Otherwise, breaking my arm had its advantages. My parents and my sister had a lot of stuff for me to do. On Monday morning, my mom had to help me get dressed for school because it was hard for me to lift my arm over my head to put on my shark t-shirt. Be careful, baby, Mom said. Lift your arm slowly. Are you okay? Yeah, but it's still pretty sore, so I don't think I can make my bed. Oh, don't be silly, sweetheart. I don't expect you to make your bed. Not with a broken arm. Dr. Carton told you to move it as little as possible. Not make my bed? This was great. My mom was such a neat freak that I usually had to make my bed before I came down for breakfast. And she would do a bed check while I was eating it to make sure I had done it correctly. Where's your backpack, honey? My mom asked. I'm going to carry it downstairs for you. I think I threw it in the closet. Freddie, you know I like it hung up on the hook so it stays nice. Stays nice? Who is she kidding? No boy's backpack stays nice. If it looks too clean, kids think you're a geek. In fact, when she bought it, I stepped on it with my dirty shoes and dropped it in the mud puddle so it wouldn't look brand new. She found my backpack and she went downstairs. How's it feeling this morning, sport? My dad asked, looking up from the paper. Okay, I guess, but I think it would feel a lot better if I stayed home from school and rested. Maybe that's not such a bad idea, my mom said, caressing my head. This is a rather serious injury. What do you think, Daniel? Should he stay home? What? Susie said, choking on her cereal. You're going to let him stay home from school? That's not fair. Susie, this is none of your business, my dad said. But, Susie whined, you said we could only stay home if we have a temperature or if we're throwing up, and Freddy isn't hot, and he's not tossing his cookies. Hey, I said, waving my finger from my left hand in her face. You're not my mother. Enough, Dad barked. Then he turned to me. Freddie, that was a good try, but you are going to school. Dr. Carton said you did not have to miss any school. You're just not allowed to run around at recess or climb the monkey bars. Correction, there are 3 bad things about breaking my arm. But recess is my favorite part of the day. What am I supposed to do while my friends play sharks and minnows? Sit on a bench? Maybe you could play in the playhouse with the girls, Susie said, smiling. I stuck my tongue at her. What's wrong with that, Mom asked. That's a great idea. I'll tell you what's wrong with that. I don't want people laughing at me. They won't laugh, Mom said. Yes, they will, especially Max. You know, the biggest bully in the whole 2nd grade. He'll laugh and laugh. Well, I think you're being silly. But suit yourself. Hurry up and eat your cereal. I don't want you to be late. I picked up my spoon and dipped it in the bowl. I started to lift the spoon to my mouth, but my hand was shaking and I hit my chin instead. Milk and cereal dribbled down my chin and plopped onto my lap. Oh, great, I cried. Ha, that was hilarious, Susie squealed. The milk stain makes it look like you peed your pants. Thanks a lot. Susie, my dad said, you could be a little nicer to your brother. He's a righty, so he has to get used to doing things with his left hand. It's not as easy as it looks. Yeah, I'd like to see you eat with your left hand, I said. I would, but the bus will be here any minute, Susie said, getting up from the table. I don't want to be late. Oh, no, Mom said. I didn't realize how late it was. Forget the cereal, Freddy. You can take a banana on the bus. You'd better hurry up, Susie called from the front hall. I'm not going to wait for you. Oh, yes, you are, Dad hollered back. Susie Marie Thresher, get back here right now. What? Susie said, sticking her head through the kitchen doorway. Not only are you going to wait for your brother, but you're going to carry his backpack as well. What? You mean I have to carry that thing with the big fin on my back? Yep. You can't be serious. You're joking, right? What am I, his slave? As a matter of fact, for the next few days, you are, Dad said. He needs all the help he can get. Boy, you can say that again, Susie mumbled as she grabbed my backpack and headed for the door. And that's the end of chapter 6. So we'll see how it goes at school on Friday.